Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, the place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a tag video. So this is the Truthful Youtuber Tag, and I'm pretty sure I've seen several YouTubers do this over the years. I know for a fact that I saw Samantha Ravndal do it several years ago at this point, but I most recently saw Ali Dawson do it, and it seemed like a really nice video idea now that I am creating videos here on YouTube, so I thought I would give it a shot. Of course, I'll include a link to Ali's video where I was reminded of this topic down below, so you can check it out too. I really enjoyed her video. So with that in mind, let's just get into the tag. The first question is, have you ever received a product, tried it, didn't like it, and then decided not to review it? So this is a bit of an uninteresting answer because I am a very small YouTube channel at the moment, so I have never received a product from a brand, and therefore the answer to this is no. I've never received a product, tried it, didn't like it, and then decided not to review it. I would like to think that if I did receive a product and tried it and didn't like it, that I would still review it. Personally, I think that both positive and negative reviews are very useful, particularly as a consumer, because you might be able to discern trends from people that like a particular makeup product versus those who don't. So I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like a foundation. If all of the dry skinned people that I watch dislike a product and all of the oily skinned people that I watch enjoy it, that might be a hint to me that this is a particular product that works for example, oily skinned people. But if there are a range of views coming from people that have diverse traits, for lack of a better word, then that might be an indicator that the product might not be as good, or it might be more of a risk. So the answer to this question is no. Next is product to use alone, but don't show or use online. So for this question, I don't necessarily have a great answer for it either, because I don't show makeup online as of yet on my channel. I do want to do some get ready with me videos at least once just to see what it's like. But that said, even the products that I have that I'm thinking would apply to this question aren't like my favorites. They're not things that I think I would necessarily use on camera to begin with, because they're not products that I use regularly. So all I can really say is that I do own two products that I don't think I would feature on my channel, like ever. And that is, I have an Hourglass ambient lighting setting powder that I received for free at some point from Sephora. I think it was either a birthday gift several years ago, or perhaps it was like a 100-point perk. And so I got it for free that way, and I wouldn't show that on my channel. I also own a Jeffree Star liquid highlighter that is perfectly fine. It's fine, but I don't support Jeffree Star. I had bought this product several years ago now at this point. It was back in 2018. I was visiting my sister at the time who lived in Minneapolis, and we went to the Mall of America because I'd never been inside a Morphe store, and she wanted to take me. And when we were there, I tried to use I swatched the highlighter on my hand, and it looked great. And so I ended up buying it. And back in 2018, I think there is a lot that has since come out about Jeffree Star as a person that I, to be clear, do not support. And had I known it at the time, I wouldn't have bought the product, but I didn't know it, and I liked the product when I swatched it, so I did buy it, and I still have it. So those are two products that I use that I don't intend on ever showing my use of them online. Next is product you want but won't buy because you don't support the brand. And for this question, I think we're living in a time now where makeup isn't really original anymore. It is exceedingly rare for me to see something being released in the makeup sphere, in the makeup industry, and for me to go, wow, that is new and different from everything that has been released before. And this has some perks to it, which is that if you do want a particular product, but it's being sold by a brand that you don't support, you can very, very likely get it from a different source. And that's basically my case. I can't think of anything that has come out, like, I don't want to say ever, but there are so few things that have come out in recent memory. And by recent memory, I mean like within the past several years, where I think yeah, I want to buy that, but I can't because of the brand. I'm thinking brands like, to go back to two brands that I've already mentioned. Hourglass bores me to tears. There was a liquid blush that they had released somewhat recently that I thought looked nice, but not for Hourglass prices. Even aside from any drama with Hourglass, like, I don't want to pay Hourglass prices for what I imagine will be a relatively basic liquid blush. And so it's just super easy to talk myself out of that, even if I supported them as a brand. Similar to Jeffree Star Cosmetics. What has Jeffree Star released in the past several years that has been of interest to me to the point that I wanted to buy it, but stopped myself because I didn't support him as a brand? Like, literally nothing. So the only thing I could really think of at this point in time is maybe Cosmic Brushes has my attention in terms of eyeshadow palettes that they've been releasing. So if they turned out to be horrible or owned by people that are horrible, that would be quite a big disappointment. But at this point in time, I feel like the companies that interest me for a reason. And it's often a combination of having great products and, at least on the surface, good management, like people who share morals and values and ethics, share the morals and values and ethics that I have. And there is just something fundamentally uninteresting about brands that I don't support. I'm not checking for Hourglass. I just don't think they're that interesting of a company. So it's really easy to not be interested in their products. So is there a product that I want but won't buy because I don't support the brand? Perhaps in a very, very abstract way. The answer is yes, in the sense that I want all sorts of products, not enough to actually purchase them. But in general, I would say the answer is no, because I'm not really looking for products from brands that I don't support. And if I do find them, I will venture to say that anything within the past 3 years has not been new or revolutionary to the point of me not being able to get it from a different source. Next is the question, do you have any blocked words? So again, I'm a very small YouTuber, so although the answer is no now, I'm not opposed to having blocked words. I think just for the sake of sanity, I can imagine that there are certain people that just receive slews of awful comments about the same thing that they literally cannot change, or that even if they could change, they don't want to change. And I can understand just not wanting to deal with that and then blocking those words. Do I delete comments? If so, why? I believe I've deleted a single comment, and that's because it was like a spam, basically. I don't know if it was actually legit or not, but it seemed like it was spammy. In terms of going forward, I very much prefer to err on the side of leaving comments up. However, I can see myself reading a particularly hateful or spiteful comment and choosing to delete that, or at the very least deleting it so that other people cannot see it. In terms of why, I just don't need that in my life. There's enough hate in the world that I don't need my spot on the internet to be contributing to it. And it's not like I'm solving the world's problems here on my channel. That type of comment would just be so unnecessary for anything that I'm doing. It would just not be like relevant to anything that I'm doing. Do I block people? So again, the answer is no, though I could see a situation in which that could be necessary in the future. Similar to my answers to the previous two questions, depends on the nature of the person interacting with me. If they seem just like an awful cesspool of a human being, I don't think I would really have qualms blocking them. Question 7 is, have you ever lied about a product to stay on good terms with the brand? The answer is no. I'm brutally honest about any and all of my experiences. Try to be as truthful as possible. The great part about doing this as a hobby as opposed to a career is that I purchase everything myself. And that might seem like a negative to some, but what it means is it's my money on the line. It's not companies. And so like, I'm not gonna lie to myself about a product that I bought, right? And I'm in a place where I can like afford makeup and skincare and beauty products in general. So I don't need to stay on good terms with the brand. If I hate a particular product of theirs, then I'm more than happy to state why and then purchase any future products myself. I have the means to, so it's no skin off my chin, as it were. Have I ever initially liked a product when I reviewed it and then changed my mind but didn't let my audience know? So the answer to this, unfortunately, is not interesting because I don't think I've ever like specifically reviewed a makeup product here. If this were to happen in the future, I would envision it being a situation where I perhaps forgot to update my audience, but it would certainly not be intentional. Influencer I don't trust. This is interesting because I'm trying to think of the right word, wariness when it comes to influencers. I definitely try to only watch the videos or follow people on Instagram that I think are being truthful in general about like the content and the stuff that they are reviewing, but I'm sure I haven't weeded everyone out. I'm very much aware. There was a comment that Smoky Glow, who I quite liked when she was making videos, she made a comment along the lines of something like she would be willing to lie for a paycheck, depending on like the size of the paycheck. If somebody was to offer her $1 million and for her to lie about a product, she would do it. And while I can appreciate the candor with which she said that, and I suspect that her view is one that many people share, it does just remind me that for a lot of people, it's a paycheck at the end of the day. And that means that there is a level of untrustworthiness that is inherent in their work. So in terms of influencers I don't trust, I would say most of them, particularly most bigger influencers. That said, the next question is influencer I trust the most. For the most part, if somebody does YouTube as a hobby and it's not their main source of income, I tend to trust them the most. I also tend to trust people who don't take sponsorships and or do not receive PR. So if they have purchased products themselves, I tend to trust those views the most. So the people that come to mind here, Teresa is Dead, who she has a full-time job outside of YouTube. So that does just lend an air of credibility to her work here on YouTube. I'm also thinking of Jen Phelps, who does not accept sponsorships. So although she does receive PR, I do believe that she is being honest in the reviews that she does. And I'm trying to think of anyone who has specifically said no to PR, and I'm drawing a blank on who that would be. I'm sure there are people who do it that I'm just like, they might not make it known to their audience, but generally speaking, if someone is doing a review of a product, for example, there was a recent Odin's Eye release and I had like refreshed my YouTube, and literally when I looked at my notifications, it was just post after post after post of people who I generally enjoy watching, but they had posted, it was like 20 videos of Odin's Eye reviews, and all of these people had received that product in PR. And of course, what do you know, like 19 out of the 20 people all loved it. But when I have read reviews of Odin's Eye products on the Beauty Guru Chatter subreddit, the response is much more mixed. Some people like some products and hate others. Some people have, like, within an eyeshadow palette, there might be 10 shades that worked really well and then 10 shades that were like horrendous. And I don't see beauty YouTubers talking about this, particularly the ones that have not purchased it themselves. So that's a situation in which receiving it in PR, I kind of side-eye companies if they send out whole swaths of PR and I see everyone reviewing it at the same time. The next question is secret tips or product applications you don't show while on camera. So again, I haven't done a get ready with me, so the answer to this is none. I also don't think I have any secret tips or product applications that I don't show on camera. I'm not a closed book like that. I'm not gatekeeping tips or product application guides or anything. I'm more than happy to share what I know with other people. The next question is, have you ever showed one product but were actually using another? That is unhinged territory. I would never do this. That is so bizarre. The next question is, have you ever not disclosed a sponsorship? And the answer to this is no, I've never been sponsored. But I just don't see the point in not doing so. It seems like the sort of thing that would just come out eventually. Like, even if you're not morally opposed to it, it seems like the sort of thing that would come out eventually, and then you're just going to lose most credibility with most people. I know there are people who have gotten away with not disclosing sponsorships and they still get sponsorships. People still listen to their views and reviews and all of that. But it's so easy to just do it, so just do it. And depending on where you are, there might be laws in place regarding this. So Obviously, it's up to the person taking a sponsorship to be aware of that and disclose responsibly. Therefore, I would always disclose a sponsorship, and I would also side eye any company that didn't encourage the person to disclose a sponsorship. Like if a company sponsors you, and my understanding is what will happen is if you accept a sponsorship, you'll film like your segment or whatever, you'll send it to the company, they okay it or not, and then you have to make changes, whatever. But once they okay it, you put it in your video and like you're good to go. But if that company told you not to disclose it, or they became aware when you showed them the segment that you were not disclosing that this is like a sponsored portion, and they didn't tell you to change it, I would then, as a viewer of that content, like probably just never purchase from that company again. I think, again, it's so easy to be truthful, so just do it, right? I don't know. Have I ever had a bad interaction with a brand? As a very small YouTuber, I think at the time of this filming, I have like 7 subscribers. The answer to this is no, because I've never had any interaction with the brand, at least from a YouTuber perspective. In terms of purchasing a product, like I'm sure I have, but nothing that comes to mind as I believe this question is intended. Have you ever bandwagoned with other people's thoughts on a particular product? Nope. I am more than happy to make decisions for myself. And the next question is things other creators do that get on your nerves. And I think this would be an interesting video in and of itself, because there are lots of things that creators do that frustrate me or annoy me. In particular, I think I'd really have to think about this question to give a fulsome answer. I think for the most part, if anybody does something that I think is dishonest or not truthful, more than happy to just yeet them from my subscriber or from my subscribed list, I suppose. And so beyond that, it becomes much more about like a personality or particular quirks that anyone might have. I personally think that I have certain quirks that I could easily see being annoying to other people, and like that's fine. But people that annoy me to that, like if someone annoys me to that degree, then I also just unsubscribe to them. So I really try to curate the people that I'm subscribed to so that I'm enjoying their content, right? Like I don't hate watch anyone. I don't really see the point of that. That doesn't seem fun to me. That seems like a waste of time to me. And so for the most part, if there are things that other people do or other creators do that get on my nerves, it's almost certainly like this person says this word a little bit weird. I happen to say some words a little bit weird, so like whatever, no harm, no foul. I don't care. It might get on my nerves, but I'm not going to unsubscribe from them because of that. So those are all the questions that are on this tag. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed to my channel. Before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.